Baccalaureate is a time set aside to remember how the Lord has blessed us as a class and to look toward the future with anticipation of what He will accomplish in our lives over the next 4 years. As we remember the last 4 years, we will hear testimonies from Blake Carlisle and Samantha Thompson.
For those of us who have called Cal home since kindergarten, 4,665 days have passed since our first day here. And now as we gather together in this place, we have just one day until we graduate. Over the years, we have grown close as a class, and because of that, we all have certain reputations. Some of us, like Cal Llewellyn and Grace Jennings, are great athletes. Some of us, like Larkin Mann and Tyler Clements, are great musicians. Some of us, like Garrett McIntyre, are natural leaders. But as you look back, are you happy with the reputation that you have built? Sadly, those 4,665 days are now over and we can't go back and change things. However, the beautiful thing about tomorrow is that we get to start over in a sense. No matter who you are or what reputation you have built, we all find ourselves at the same point. We all want to be successful, but we stand at a crucial fork in the road. One way leads to triumph, while the other leads to brokenness. One way leads to fulfillment, while the other leads to disappointment. One is characterized by faithfully running the race that God has set out for us, while the other is characterized by the pursuit of money, possessions, and fame. From early on in life, we are driven to be successful. It is in our nature to strive to make a name for ourselves and leave a legacy that lasts for generations. Some equate success with how much money a person can make and how many nice things they have, while others spend their entire lives chasing this elusive concept that they have never truly been able to define. So what is success? What does it look like? And how can we possibly achieve it? Last summer, my family and I had the incredible opportunity to tour the Biltmore Estate. It was built in the 1800s by the late George Vanderbilt. It is the biggest mansion in all of the United States. It has 250 rooms, a bowling alley, a pool, a gym, and an incredible garden, and it sits on thousands of acres. As I walked through the incredible rooms, I could not help but notice the reactions of the hundreds of other people inside the building. They looked around with wide eyes. They took pictures and pointed at the various breathtaking structures. If success is based on wealth and legacy, then Mr. Vanderbilt was incredibly successful. He lived a life of luxury with all the pleasures that a man could hope for. And now over 1 million people each year marvel at what he left behind. However, during the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus looked at the people in the crowd and he told them, he said, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven." Jesus tells us that all the wealth and possessions we store up here on this fleeting earth are meaningless. I wish that I could sit down with Mr. Vanderbilt today and ask him how he would define success now that he faces eternity. Happiness is often synonymous with success. People either pursue success in hopes of being happy, or they try to find ultimate happiness through their successful lives. Tom Brady, one of the best quarterbacks in recent history, was being interviewed on 60 Minutes a couple years ago. At this point in his career, he was already known as one of the best quarterbacks and was respected on and off the field. He had won multiple championships and awards. He seemingly epitomized success. He had all the wealth and fame that anyone could dream of having. However, Brady said in the interview, "Why do I have 3 Super Bowl rings and still think there is something greater out there for me? There has to be more than this." He accomplished his goals and was left with an empty feeling. He was left with the confusion that comes with the emptiness of success by the world's standards. See, when Jesus was praying and talking with his disciples in Luke chapter 9, he tells them plainly, "If anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me." What good is it for a man to gain the whole world, yet lose or forfeit his very self? In this conversation, Jesus warns people like Tom Brady who strive to make a name for themselves and live a life of fame because he knows how meaningless that lifestyle can become. Last summer, my dad and I had the opportunity to go on a father-son trip to the Red River Gorge with some other senior guys and their fathers, and it was an incredible opportunity. One day we were hiking up a mountain, and we finally reached the top, and we had a Bible study. And my dad taught me something that day that I'll never forget. He stressed the importance of excellence, being excellent in what you do. See, a truly successful individual must embody excellence. Paul writes to the church at Colossae, and he tells them that in all they do, to do it as if they were working for the Lord and not for men. I believe that this approach is the first step in achieving true success. When I look out at my classmates, I see so much potential out of you all. I see Connor Duffy, who wants to be an engineer. I see Hunter Myers and Dylan Sexton, who want to be businessmen. I see Katie Amon, who wants to be a physical therapist. I see Ben Viola, who wants to be a sportscaster. I see Maya Wright and Emily Rennie, who want to go into the fashion industry. I see Dana Vielander, who wants to be a child life specialist. I see Mason Leichhardt, who wants to be a pastor. I see Addison Skarsky, who wants to be in the Army. And I see Brad Hickman, who wants to go into full-time ministry. And many more who are seeking prestigious occupations in this next phase of life. However, my hope for us, the class of 2016, is that in whatever the Lord calls us to do, we would be excellent for Him. Because at the end of the day, we must work at everything as if we were working for the Lord and not for men. I hope that we would not take our eyes off of Jesus and go down the path of earthly success that seems so enticing and attractive at the start, but leads to an eternity apart from Christ. So now we are left with the question, what is success? As Christians, we can see and know that it isn't about money or accolades. We look around at the people that the world labels as successful, and we see some of their lack of happiness and their disappointment. For those who truly follow Jesus, it is not about how many treasures and achievements one can build up here on this fleeting earth. It isn't even about leaving a legacy for yourself. I believe as Christians, a successful life is one marked with excellence. When we strive to do our best in everything that we do. When we reuse what the Lord has blessed us with to bless others and to ultimately bless Him. One where the legacy we leave is not one that glorifies ourselves, but glorifies the one worthy of all our glory, honor, and praise. I hope that one day, all of us here can look back on our lives with a smile on our faces, knowing that we were truly successful.